D-Roy Cruz here, your life applications officer. Boy, have I got some rambling to do. Let's get ready to ramble! I gotta keep my voice down. It's late. Yeah, it's late. It's not even PM anymore. It's late. Even though I'm hearing all these noises, like, what time y'all going to bed? Anyway, I'm going to be jumping all over the place. This is time to ramble. I love to ramble. First off, why would a group of highly educated and highly paid individuals who make their money from flying around the world block a wheelchair ramp to have a conversation, and when they're addressed about it nicely, they start acting like children? Let me say that again. How does a group of highly educated, wealthy people, seem like very, very nice people too, block a wheelchair ramp, and when they're addressed about it nicely, they start acting like children? I'm saying that to show you and give you an idea of the state of our world today, the consciousness of our world today. It's like that all over the place. It's like that everywhere. Now, the people that own the property, they could make it a law don't loiter on the ramp. You cannot stand on the ramp. You got to be moving. They can make that law. It'll take them 2 seconds. And a lot of people I know, and there's just so many things that people need to address so they don't have to address other things, if you know what I mean. Like, for example, if you address, people who smoke, you don't have to worry about nobody getting offended by them smoking. You said, well, D-Roy Cruz, who's getting offended by smoking? Well, today on my job, someone came to me to complain about somebody smoking weed inside the building. These people pay big money to come here and get away from all that, and they walk right into it. What if you could be arrested for smoking weed anywhere else except the woods? Would it be unfair? Because to a lot of scientific types of people and a lot of people that practice medicine, marijuana is still a drug. a narcotic drug, to be exact. But now it's like, all this time people smoke so much weed around me, I'm thinking they made it legal. And people tell me, it ain't legal. You can call cops if you want. It ain't legal. They shouldn't be smoking it there. Nobody, no. Drugs are still illegal. You have to smoke that in your house between you and your wife, or you and, and if the neighbors smell it coming out of your house, this is what somebody told me. If the neighbors smell it coming out of your house, they can call the police on you, and depending on what precinct, in what town, city, and state, they can come and have you arrested for smoking marijuana on your own property. I didn't know that. Right here in Pittsburgh. I don't know if that guy knows what he's talking about. He says, smoke weed around me and see what happens. Well, dude, every time I go to the bus stop, it smells like weed. Every time I walk outside my job, it smells like weed. Walking into my job, smells like weed, okay? It's everywhere. And then, now they're smoking it in the building. I thought we had smoke detectors for that. The neighbors feel like they're in the ghetto. The people that have come here, they paid all this money to fly here and enjoy it and have a good time on their. Why would you want to take a vacation in Pittsburgh? Oh my God, this is not a place for a vacation, but people actually come here to take big fancy vacations. Might be somewhere to get away because you're going through something in your own town that bad, but it sure in hell ain't no vacation. And I'm not even talking about leaving the state of Pennsylvania. Just Pittsburgh, Philadelphia. You don't take vacations in Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. Well, what's Pittsburgh? Pittsburgh is 2 seconds away from being Philadelphia. Being identical to Philadelphia. Moving on from that. To me, in closing with that part of this, we didn't need marijuana back in the 60s and the 70s and the 50s, okay? We didn't need marijuana back then. And even back then, people were complaining about depression and going through some real depression, may I add, and suffering from sickness and diseases back then that today we have cures to. But back then, smoking weed was illegal. You couldn't even get your hands on weed unless you lived in the inner cities, unless you lived in the ghettos. Or two people that had access to weed. People in the ghetto that were involved in gangs and the gangster life and all like that, and very, very, very rich people. None of us people in between them two, if we wanted to. Now, when I was a kid, I lived in a neighborhood that was a weed city. And it's true. It still is today. But that was because it was a ghetto. And weed wasn't the number one thing that people smoked or snorted or whatever. There was a lot of heroin and a lot of cocaine. Okay, in the ghetto. Mainly heroin and what today is called crack. It wasn't called crack back then. It was called something else. But now there's crack and then there's crack cocaine. Help me out in the comment section, because some people call cocaine crack, but there's ghetto crack and there's expensive crack. Okay, help me out. Talk to me. You know, talk to me. Get in the comment section and talk to me. Let me know what I'm talking about, because I don't know. I'm just going by what I hear. I really don't know. I'm just going by what I hear. Moving on from that. What if, going back to yesterday's video with David Lynn, what if there are no gay churches? What if there are no gay marriages? What if gay people are not a thing? They're just people that you don't want to know what they do in the bedroom. But you know people do that. Yeah, people are gay, D-Roy. People do stuff like that. I knew that when I was a kid. Plenty of people around me were gay. Again, nobody knew that they were gay but us, because we were their friends. But where I get a little ticked off at and feel very, very upset with the gay community is that you have to express to me that you're gay. And because you're gay, cops can't pull you over, because if they pull you over, they're pulling you over because you're gay. You can't be turned down anything, because if you turn down anything, if they run out of room for you to stay here in Pittsburgh in a hotel, if they charge you too high at the hospital because you got sick or whatever, it's because you're gay. And then you wonder why they relate gayism with being black. I'm black. But I also know enough biology to know that I'm a man. And if I feel like I'm in the wrong body for a split second, if I feel like I'm a woman for a split second, if I feel like I'm starting to look at another man in that kind of way for a pinch of a second, please, Jesus, rebuke that demon and set me free in the name of Jesus. Because sometimes it's okay to say no, devil. Not today, devil. No, devil. That's not how we do it. The only difference between, in my opinion, and this is my Christian humble opinion, the only difference between somebody being gay and somebody being kind of strange, but he's a good Christian, is when the gay person started having sexual problems and problems relating to the same sex, and problems relating to the opposite sex, and was abused in some kind of way, or abused somebody else in some kind of way, or whatever that made him or her feel a certain way, they chose it a lot of times at a young age. Most of the time at a young age. Age you ain't supposed to be worrying about none of that stuff, but at a young age you decided to come out of some kind of closet. Where's this place at? Where is this closet that you came out of? There is no closet. You didn't come out, you gave in. You didn't come out, you gave in. And you knew that you were supposed to fight this. But you felt like, no, that's not right. No, why don't we just legalize it and make it right and call and you know, scream at everybody that gets that. No. The girl in David Lim's video that, why would you want to get married in a church when you're not a Christian, first of all? Why? Why would you want to get married in a church when you're not a Christian? You have not studied the nuclear family or you know, you probably don't know a single Bible verse that has anything to do with marriage. Why would you want to get married in a church? Churches are for Christians, number one. And number two, churches are for religious people. And most religious people, even some of the dumbest religions I've ever met, don't support gayism. They do not support LGBTQ and other letters and numbers that you stole from the numerical system in the alphabet. They don't. And it ain't like they're going to heaven. But they don't agree with your homosexuality. Why? Because it might be the most moral thing in their religion not to believe in your homosexuality. That's why they don't believe in it. Because they know from common sense and if it's so hard for you, I think the lie of gay people is that they lost their common sense. No, you didn't. You just want to change what I think. And we have to know the difference between the workplace, the hospital, and places where we can come and communicate. I think protesting should be done indoors among people that all think alike. You think because you're out there ready to fight somebody, for whatever reason you're ready to fight them, You think that makes them change their mind? That makes them turn around? That breaks them? No, what breaks people is love. What breaks people is love. What breaks people is understanding that they've been punching and kicking and screaming at the truth just to find out that the truth is still the truth, no matter what. God didn't create us to lie down with our brothers if we're men. And God didn't create us to lie down with our sisters if we be women. God created us to find our opposite. Opposites not only attract, but opposites is what gets a woman pregnant. Opposites is what makes a woman not only feel emotional about the person that she's with, but she feels in place with the one she's with. Even when he's a total dirtbag, she feels in place. Why? Because of that connection. The egg and the sperm come together, if I'm saying that right. Well, I'm only saying that if I'm saying that right. But in real life, in every other part of the relationship, it's the same thing. The sperm connects with the egg, and that's how things are born. That's not just the baby, but the male hormones and the female hormones come together and fall in love because of their uniqueness relation to each other as opposites, as opposite species, even, almost. Okay? The only limit there are four things that separate men from women, and that men and women have to have these things in common to be with each other. One is proper use of masculinity and femininity, if I'm saying those words right. Talk to me. Don't hate, talk. Okay? Proper use of femininity and masculinity. Masculinity from the male and femininity from the female. There's a lot of jocks out there that keep going through a relationship like going through toilet paper. They can't stay with anybody because they keep getting dumped because their masculinity is bullcrap. And what we have is a beta male trying to be with a alpha woman, and there's something wrong with that picture. Okay? So one is the proper usage of masculinity and femininity coming together. Okay? Then there's religion, and there's culture. And there's one more. The other one would be cultural agreement. Two cannot walk together except they agree. Okay? There is no reason why Christianity doesn't work. There's only one reason it doesn't work in any of it individual's life. And I'm closing right here. There's only one reason why Christianity doesn't work in your life. And that's because you think this world is your friend. It's not. Your job is not your friend. Your doctor is not your friend. Okay? Your teachers in school are not your friends. The President of the United States is not your friend. Donald Trump's not even my friend. I like the man. He's not my friend, though. He's in politics. And he's out there with the rich people. I got something to say about that, too. Thank you, Lord. I got something to say about that, too. I almost forgot. But he's not my friend. I admire the guy. I think he's a great guy, but he's not my friend. My friend lives in Ohio. My next door neighbor is not my friend. My pastor is not even my friend. Nothing in this world is my friend except what we share between ourselves that we call the gospel. We are brothers and sisters, but we're not friends. People are slaughtered, raped and killed, and cheated and robbed and belittled and brutalized every day in different ways because they think that they can trust somebody to be their partner in crime, or trust somebody to be their back, to be their backup, to have their back. Have your back, why? Have your back because of what you believe in. There's people out on the street who don't believe certain things, and they believe certain things, therefore they become dangerous. You know what? One of the things that's really dangerous, and you're going to be surprised to hear me say this, because I'm rambling, I'm jumping all over the place. Please don't let me forget about Donald Trump, but one of the things that really is dangerous, the most dangerous thing, is when you don't find anybody attractive but this group of people. You don't learn anything from anybody except this group of people. You don't have any friends or even acquaintances outside of this group of people. You only watch sports or news or anything cultural from this group of people. Everything is about your race or your group within that race. It's never about America. It's never about your country. It's never about the world in general. When you have that kind of attitude, you're a very dangerous person. As much as I want homosexuals to stay in their lane and Christians be in their lane, there's two dangers there. One is that the homosexuals, because they don't need anybody, they become dangerous because they don't step outside of their movement as it becomes a cult. They don't step outside of, gay people to learn anything, to see how the other half lives, to learn anything, to observe anything, to collect anything. The other thing is, Christians, if we don't evangelize people and show our care and concern for other people, we become ignorant, not only ignorant Calvinists, but we become racist as a Christian. It would be totally racist for me to feel that guy that they just released from America and sent him home to Russia in place of Miss Griner. Okay? He could never see Jesus. He could never be saved. And there was an interview with him where he said some things about Christianity, and it went viral. People were going crazy about it. Funny how you wait till I think you're talking about Jesus because you know that you have been released. So basically what he's trying to say is this has nothing to do with him. This is all Putin. He didn't ask to be released from prison. He felt that he was being punished rightfully for what he deserved. And here they're releasing him because they want some kind of something for releasing a lesbian black woman back into the United States. They want something for it. So they're going to, and he did an interview about it, where he sounded like basically saying they made a bad choice. But he's glad to be out, and he blames God for getting him out. However, before anyone can be called a Christian, they have to register. They have to register. I'm not an Olympian until I do what Olympic people do and go through the training and everything that Olympian people go through. And some of the people that I'm going to look up to because of what I've been through to be an Olympian will be Olympians. There will be people in there that I look up to like I look up to my mama. Because we went through hot, cold, and hell, fire, and freezing storm to get here. And we did it. And we got the notoriety for it. Famous. The people that I probably trust the most will probably be Olympians. You got to register with Jesus. before becoming a Christian. It's not about a worldview, atheists. It's not about a worldview. It's not about just picking a side. Because if I'm going to pick a side, just give me, okay, a 400-pound muscle man that's about 6.5 feet tall, okay, to be my bodyguard, and I'll go out here and tell everybody in the world to go F themselves. While I spend most of my time, okay, behind the walls of the dojo. Because that's the way I see the world. I see everybody as my enemy because they cannot get past some things that are my right and my creation to be. I didn't choose to be black. I didn't choose to be short. I didn't choose to be bald. So there are people that don't have to worry about ever being in my shoes. Men and women. Never being in my shoes. But yet you think that you have no conviction. And who is the woman that gets used up by men? Would it be the woman that thinks that when a man's being a total a-hole, that's cute and funny? You got a lot of nerve, woman, complaining about getting dumped or dumping a guy or complaining about, what he did wrong when he was out there being an a-hole. Excuse my French. But when he was out there being an a-hole, you know what I'm talking about. With other people, you thought it was cute as long as he treats you like a lady. But when he got down to you and started telling you, why don't you go in the other room? When he started getting insensitive, oh, I'm sorry, do we need to talk about this right now? Oh yeah, I told you I was coming home, but I ran into so-and-so. We had some catching up to do. Oh, now you're starting to taste what some of us men go through with your boyfriend or your husband every day. Them being a-holes because they can. And you think that as long as they don't do it to you, it's okay. You think you're the prize. Jesus saved me from being an a-hole. He's the prize. It's not coochie that saves a man. It's not coochie that gives a man prestige and gets some pats on the back. I've been blown away with treatment from people just by taking my guitar down to the park. And I'm not even that good a guitar player. But I went down there I gave them my best song and got off the stage like, oh, they probably don't like it, whatever. They loved it. I come out the park. The girl's waiting for me by my car. My pastor's looking at me like, keep it clean, keep it clean. Ain't I the guy that you got mad at just last week? Because I knew the man that you were sleeping with that's married to another woman. Now I get a turn. I don't want a turn. I'll pass. Man did more cheating on his wife while she was alive than he did after she was dead. We all need Jesus. We all need Jesus. In closing, Donald Trump I heard this documentary today that Donald Trump, how'd he put it? Donald Trump never was considered a racist until he became president of the United States. The world is not your friend. This whole thing, and people seem to forget, unless they was lying to us on TV, and I caught them lying about the pandemic. But unless they were lying to us, unless them videos were staged of people randomly attacking so-called Trump supporters in the streets before this man even got into office. Did you forget? What did he do? You have to get into the rally to hear the man talk. But they were attacking the supporters before they even made it inside to their first rally. This is staged. The world is not your friend. They staged that. We live in a country where people will give you anything to get your vote, or send a mob after you to get your vote, or send a mob after you to destroy you for not voting for them. People don't care if you get raped, if you get beaten down in the street, shot and dead. It's called sacrifice. They don't care what happens to you, as long as they are in power, as long as they have their riches and their rights of passage to do whatever the hell they want. Just keep on, Hillary, the whole thing with the emails, Biden and his son Hunter, who cares? But Trump grabbing that coochie? We ain't going to let that go. He didn't grab a coochie while he was running for president. He was talking to someone in an RV about whores in the world of the rich and famous that he had messed around with before he got married. Thank God I'm not the president. I'd be impeached because I do it too. I talk about people I've been with. Not so much, since I gotta watch what I say in the name of Jesus. But if I wasn't saved, I'd tell you some stories. But I don't care about them stories anymore. They're rubbish to me for the sake of Jesus Christ. I don't need those stories. I'm not married to those stories. Them stories aren't tucking me in at night. Them stories ain't going to be there for me when I'm facing adversity. To say, come on, honey, let's go home. Let's get out of here. What I want to talk about what I've done in the past for. Why is my past so important? And I can't understand why men talk so much about other women when they're married. I'll never understand that. I told a guy today that, like, he saw a woman and he couldn't let it go. Aren't you married to a woman? How would she feel about you looking at another woman's rump and spending 30 minutes talking about it? Oh, if you only knew. Oh, if you only knew, D-Roy. If you only knew. Yeah, if I only knew that you ain't gonna get no coochie like that. That's why you're married to what you're married to, and you ain't satisfied. You just gonna sit there and look at women through the glass and talk about them. You was doing this before you got married. What's the difference now? Oh, now it's wrong because you're married. You should have married someone that you're really happy with. See, we have to keep our bodies under subjection. You got to do that whether you're saved or not. Okay? But no, what are we doing? Oh, I'll marry anybody. Doesn't matter who I marry. I'll marry the darkest woman when I really like cream-colored women. I'll marry a woman outside my race when I really want to be with a black woman. Okay? But then, I'll talk about other women and look at other women and flirt with other women. Take my wife to strip clubs if that's not enough. Okay? And if that ain't enough, I'll look at porn and masturbate. But the Bible tells us to keep our bodies up under subjection. And even though you're not a Christian and you don't believe in God, keeping your body under subjection is a very, very, very good thing. It works just as well for those that ain't Christian as well as it does for the Christian. The Christian has a bigger reason to keep his body up under subjection because we are the model. We are the examples. That's why people hate us, because we are the examples. When David Lynn is out there preaching, people who are out there in that world living this life where they're just waiting for somebody to offend them. When you're gay, you're just waiting for someone to offend you. When you're transgender, you're just waiting for someone to get your pronouns wrong. Why? Because you know deep down inside you ain't supposed to be here in this situation. You knew you crossed the line. Either you should have stayed in the closet until you got done cleaning it, then come out. Or you should have went out the other. You should have went through out the other side and came out the closet on the other side. Came out of the closet in Jesus. That's what you should have did. You know, you have them. You ever have one of them closets? They have two ways in it. One's going in one bedroom. One's going in the other bedroom. I had a hotel like that one time. But hotel room like that one time. And I stayed over a friend's house that had a closet like that one time. But I'm out of here. I have so much to say. But I learned tonight that the world needs Jesus because he is the only thing that puts humanity in its place. Men are out of order. Women are out of order. Femininity and masculinity is all over the place. It's out of order. It then went gay, and it then went over sexist and too centralized, and a mixture of all these things, and none of them are working. Religion is a mess. Christianity, even Christianity itself, the churches are at war with each other. But I don't have to join any war. I only fight one war. And that is the war of Armageddon. When I come back here with Jesus to fight his foes, whether they be Christians or Catholics or Muslims or gay people or these knuckleheads that keep coming to my channel, okay, snagging my videos for their own personal entertainment, okay, I'll be in that war. Those of you that don't get saved in the last war, I hope you know how to fight. I hope you know how to fight. And I hope you know how to be superhumans, because that's what we'll be. It will be an unfair fight. You are not a worthy opponent. Sorry. But you're not a worthy opponent. You ain't one now, you sure ain't going to be one then. Oh boy. I hope you know how to fight. And you better, if you think you're going to fight superhumans, you better get busy. You better start training. You're going to need some Bruce Lee, some Chuck Norris, some Jet Li, some Wing Chun, okay, along with that Wu Assassin crap, okay? You're gonna need some PS4, okay? What is that? Mortal Kombat, because it's gonna be spiritual. I'm out of here. D-Roy Cruz, thank you for watching. Your Life Applications Officer. It's been fun. I'm up. I've had my caffeine, so my schedule's different this week, so you might see more of me. But like I said, I'm getting ready to do my episode